Oh, it was Power here to review the Ultraman Trigger. The Ultraman Trigger. Okay. DX Circle Arms. So this is the primary weapon of Ultraman Trigger, as you can see from here. Ultraman Trigger multi-type, and you can see circle arms and the multi-sword, the power claw, and the sky arrow. Then you get each of the forms with their formations. Then you get Trigger and the Subaraya Imagination advertisement. Then you get the other two forms. Warning, warning, choke your children. The formations of the circle arms and the attacks. So let's take a look at this. So here we have circle arms out of its packaging, which was surprisingly just in plastic. And obviously it's pretty stubby because it's a roleplay weapon. However, obviously this is prop accurate. I really like the chrome design that's at the front of here. Like it's just really cool overall. And also just the marbling, the purple marbling is very beautiful. Yeah, purple tip here for the blade. Back here you can see more of the marbling board, as you know, the chrome isn't blocking it. And I believe it carries over to the handle too. And obviously the handle here is reminiscent of the chest design of Trigger, I assume, or Tiga. It looks like it's... gosh darn. We got a trigger button right here. Then we got this purple gem here. This is obviously where you're going to insert the hyper keys. Obviously, just like the spark lens, obviously this presses the button within the hyper key, and this only has the one pin. Obviously, being circle arms, it's a circle. And to switch mode, you simply press this button and slide it. So now we are at the power claw, which is essentially scissors. Do not choke your children with this. And then press it down once again and slide it all the way through, and we get the sky arrow, which is honestly probably my favorite. Like, I just really like how this works overall and just how it looks. And it's pretty, like, obviously it's pretty long that I can't really like get this to look well to the point I can't even center this anymore. But yeah, this is obviously the longest of them all and such. And obviously sliding it all the way back here will give you circle arms. So obviously pulling the pull tab here, we get the activation sound. So we'll announce the mode it's in, and now each mode has 2 attacks. Now we're in Power Claw. And so obviously by itself you get like, you know, 6 sounds. And if you don't move it into any of the specific modes, because all it's simply doing is pressing a button within... It's just pressing a button on this side and such. So essentially, when you don't hit a button, it just won't do anything until you hit one of the 3 buttons with this. So obviously you can use hyper keys with this. So we'll bring in our 4 hyper keys we've covered. So let's go chronological order. Obviously press the trigger. So basically, obviously, to explain how all this is, obviously, is that this will say its thing. This will say, obviously, instead of saying the finisher name, it will say the form name, which is pretty unique, and then it will say the attack name after you do the, when you do the attack and such. And then this thing will have its sound and then transition to this sound, even though I would say they did it pretty well because this thing still does sounds, but it's not as like it's subdued such. And obviously to remove the hyper key, just press this button here. And then switching it to power claw. And then using power type. You get a different standby. So then, Sky Arrow. Obviously, the only negative thing for me with the Sky Arrow is that it's hard to frame. Because I was like, you know what, I probably should have just framed it like this. Obviously, we're going to use the Tiga multi-type because even though we haven't seen this at all, you can obviously, as long as it makes sound, you can use it within circle arms. Obviously, it's... So obviously, this is the same sounds, like phrases as Trigger multi-type, obviously, because they're the same. Obviously, the sounds are different. And obviously, you're not stuck to just with, like, you obviously can use this within any mode, so obviously demonstrating what he did within the show. He used Trigger multi-type within the power claw. Obviously, it does add something new to it because it's now the two sounds overlapping. However, I'm not going to demonstrate. That's not a thing I'm going to demonstrate. But yeah, overall, I think Circle Arms is a pretty neat weapon for Trigger, as I would say it's in line with like the Rube Slugger, but like to a better extent because basically, the Rube Slugger had specific had specific crystals that you can use with it, and then those made unique sounds and such. And like, I like that they essentially took that, but then like actually, they took the advantage of these making sounds, or the hyperkeys making sounds. So I really like how it's just like the Gut Spark ones, that the two products conjuncture with each other to just, have that like experience of like the two toys actually working together. I just really like that overall. Obviously, it's just like what the majority of Rider stuff have been doing, but it's like, again, like zeroing with like the attached weapons and the PowerRider keys. Like, yeah, it's stuff that you're already used to with Rider, but with Ultraman, it's just pretty neat. And like, obviously, I'm gonna demonstrate later that you don't like. Obviously, like it. Gosh darn it. I do like that you essentially could play with this by itself, even like trigger all the finisher sounds itself. Because some of the things I'm not really too big on is that, like, with the Rider, obviously with the thing is that with some toys, obviously, is like, the weapon will like leave a sound for the progress key and such. But again, I really like the way how Circle Arms handles it, where like, you know, they made it so like the first sound that the sounds that the Circle Arms makes that are supposed to be for the keys are not like, you know, they're still present, but they're not as like, they're not going to like interfere with the sounds of the hyperkeys and such. I'm losing train of thought, so I will have to do with this review. So this is Power, and I'll leave you people. This sucks. Bye.